If I were to say one criticism about this series at the con, I would have become the greatest heel of all time. This is what happens when I jump to the conclusion about this battle being the best one yet. While it doesn't hold much value since the rest are just fair, it doesn't help that this chapter provided an unnecessary stalling for the result that already established from the last chapter. Instead of ending it on a high note, it ended underwhelming. I'm not a fan of this chapter, and while I won't say it's a bad one, it got me thinking, can we end this arc already? The last chapter ended with everyone on panel throwing everything they got, and it resulted to everyone down and out. This could have been troubling, knowing how a draw doesn't benefit much for Tenya and Shoto, rather undermine the significant value of their growth. While they saved themselves with the later moment, the overall battle was not. Not to mention, it sets up for a draw for both teams, and while this is not a real contest, it could leave an empty reward. The beginning shows the reason for Tenya being weakened before saving Shoto, in which seems unnecessary. It's easy to buy in with the falling tower on him and having his left limbs damaged by the destruction. I get that it tried to add depth by stating Sen weakened him during the struggle. Therefore, Tenya's left limbs already taken enough toll. Perhaps if it was shown before the destruction or display other symptoms from the struggle, that would have been fine. Yes, it does stop him from doing work, but again, just saying the debris did the job is enough. By this point, the chapter was stalling time for the result. Then Mina reminds the fans that the battle result is determined by those who is in prison. That means Team A will win with one captive. When I heard this, I was glad that this was the case, as well as the battle not concluded just yet. It gives other characters the time to do their part and perhaps add more depth to them. When it finally concluded, I only thought, what was the point of this? Basically, the battle continues since other characters are still battling. Before the end, it did have some tension, even though none of the characters offer any care for me to invest in. So long as a result, I'll be fine. Ojiro takes the fall, and the score is 1-1. Soji is pretty much playing cat and mouse with Pony, as she is hurrying out to escape and save her comrades. She realizes the score is equal, so instead of trying to capture and potentially lose, she grabs her comrades and float in the air until the time ran out. I honestly don't remember being a time limit. The battle ends with a draw. What was the point? The last chapter ended with a better and significant note than here. If it was going to end it with a draw, why not just end it with the last chapter? Instead, it went back to the characters that I have no investment, considering none of them were portraying anything relevant. There's no backstory, no flashback, no motivation, nothing. If anything, it would have been better to have the time limit expires while Tenya keeps struggling to return. It would have made us feel bad easily rather than what happened there. Yes, it more or less shows it here, but it's overwritten by the other aspects. So it's like watching filler mixed with canon materials. I understand that Team A have one captive, so if it does end on a time limit, they would have won. That's true, but this is where planning is key. Koei could have skipped the battle sequence and surprised the audience with Team B capture one off panel, resulting to a draw. Either that or do it before the last chapter sequence. Even so, a draw is not the decision I will call for. It feels rather a cop-out to the overall endgame, and with Team B hardly shows character and more of an obstacle, there's no reason to be happy for them. The part that helped the chapter is the aftermath. It's a bit laughable how Tenya and Shoto got a moment of characterization over the last two battles contestant, indicating how little they meant in compare. As stated before, Tenya is the real MVP of the battle, and it's a good thing he shows frustration. He actually felt bothered by it. Seriously, other characters didn't show anything, so it left me thinking, I should have cared then. Shoto, despite weak showing, also feels the need to improve while thanking Tenya. This is what I was hoping for this arc to show in the first place. To give Team B credit, at least Juzo and Tetsu got into the mix of characterization. Well, it's more like they want a rematch one day, but at least it's something. Plus, they do compliment them for a good battle, so it has some merits. It shows good sportsmanship. Is it really that hard to ask for? It's a bit odd to take the blame when it didn't end with them, but it is what it is. The fourth battle is about to begin, and yes, this is where Bakugo steps in. Once again, it's been a while since we last seen him in action, so here's for a good showing. As for Team B, the panel didn't present their names, so I have zero clue who they are. Well, save for one. Monoma hypes up the battle because apparently there's a kryptonite to Bakugo in the team. Her name is Sesuna Tokage, and like Juzo, she's another student admitted through recommendation. Apparently, this is a serious way to call them national treasures or raise the difficulty. Well, we'll see. Overall, I thought it was a slight above average chapter. The battle could have ended strong, but decided to prolong the inevitable, even if it needed a justified result. It was not bad, but not good as well. The saving grace was the aftermath with actual characters' frustration. Seriously, was everyone cool about getting one-shot by Mirio a long time ago? The next battle is starting soon, and apparently, it's back to 13-page chapter. Only Shoto could earn more pages. Good to know. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. Well, at least Bakugo is up next, even though we do have Sesuna, which apparently becoming people's waifu or whatever you call that day. Anyway, Bakugo is up next, and maybe he will be treated much better. Why? Because he is the #1 character in the entire series. Seriously, Deku, step up your game. What do you think of the chapter? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.